Howdy, welcome to another Nonsense Wars production. Today we're taking a look at another set in the Inventor series from the early 2000s. This is the small set, Motion Madness, at $15 and 243 pieces. Once again, the set promises 15 creations. I'm going to guess that about 6 of them will have instructions. This set doesn't contain any motors of any sort. Instead, there's a long string and a special pulley that we'll take a look at later. All right, let's see what came in this. First off, there are 4 bags, and this style of perforated bag is sort of less common these days. But there's 4 bags, and I'm gonna guess that this has our string in it. In addition to the 4 bags, we have some paper, an instruction manual that's very thick, although not that large. Then we have a small 2003 catalog, and a shop-at-home advertisement for a free catalog. Most of what comes in this set is basic and Technic bricks, which were common in creator sets at the time. Well, not the Technic. So first, rubber bands and a rubber band holder. These look okay. The good stretch, they've taken the shape of the holder, but normally when these go bad, you can pull on them and you'll see little tears. And in fact, some tears are visible in the pictures in the instruction manual, but that seems okay. The other key part in this set is this rubber tire. This doesn't come in any other sets. You can see that there's a very faint set of grooves on the inside. This one's still a little soft. That's good. Sometimes the rubber, particularly for the ones that go on this wheel, tend to rot. And it doesn't, so usually when these go bad and go hard, what will happen is you'll be able to rotate the outside separately from the inside easily. And this, it's quite difficult to force that. So this is pretty good. The last part is not unique to this set, but doesn't come in that many sets. This is a string. And usually the Lego strings are black, but this one is red. So this rope is, or this string is fraying a little at the end. One thing that always works, of course, is to tie a knot, but if the string is synthetic, you can also just melt the end. So let's find out. Melt the end just a little like that. And there. And so now you just got a glob of plastic there instead, and it should keep it from fraying. Let's take a look at the manual, which, okay, one very thick cover, and as predicted, contains full instructions for 6 models. The usual ideas with some additional angles to show you how you might make it, but no detailed instructions for anything other than the 6 main models. In this model, there's some cranks, and here there should be a half bushing to set the distance, but there isn't. Instead, there's a step in the manual warning you not to push it all the way through or the model won't work. Strangely, despite the other warning, there's no warning that the cranks should be 180 degrees out of phase. You're just supposed to pick up on that. When you push the model back and forth, the man cycles and raises and lowers his arms and shakes his head. It's a pretty good amount of features for the very first model in the manual. Now for this step, they ask you to tie the lead to the horse. First off, there's way more string than is necessary for this model, and we'll get into that later. But also, it doesn't tell you how to tie a knot. And if you were never in Boy Scouts, you don't know how to do that. The second model is a horse, and this belongs to a class of things known as passive walkers. You normally see these 2-legged versions, but basically the legs are pendulums, and as it rocks left and right, the feet are rounded on the bottom, and so the feet can swing forward. You can walk them down a hill, or if you pull them the right way, the manual implies you can just hang the weight over the edge of a table, and note that if the string is too short, this will happen. We got to the end of this model, and we built the head, going to attach the head, and where this brick gets added, and then more bricks get added here, but our attention was taken up by this huge subassembly that also happens in the same step. This happens several times. So here, some bricks added. Here, plates added. I keep going, and there another brick is added. So all these parts get added in steps where there's already a subassembly going on, and you're distracted by the subassembly itself. Lego doesn't really do this anymore. The number of parts per step has gone down significantly, but also this is an area where it's easy to get confused because your attention is elsewhere. This is, I guess, what counts as the flagship model for the set because it's on the box and it's a flappy bird. So this crank mechanism here moves the wings up and down and causes them to flap through that hinge. And then the feet are attached to the underside as a counterweight. This mechanism isn't actually located in the in-between position. You can actually see that without rotating the crank, there's some play here, and there's a reduction from the wheel here. Now, the whole thing has a bit of shimmy to it, and it does take some force to run this. So when you put it on a cord, it's important that the cord have plenty of tension. And let's go. This model has a lot of floppy bits, so you get a nice movement while it's running. One of the sort of hidden features, which is kind of nice, is that it's balanced such that if you put it down, it'll stand. The next model is this octopus, or flying squid, and it has the same wheel here, except the gears are reversed, so this speeds up. And these just dangle. This goes down the cord very slowly because of a governor mechanism. So instead of all the energy going into the object itself, a lot of it gets stored in these arms spinning around, and the remainder only gets sent in as the energy of the whole thing. To see how that works, we're just going to pull this here, and so the arms won't spin, and we'll send it down the cord. The last model for which there are instructions is this thing, which is intended as a hook for hanging, like a clothes hook for your jacket or backpack. Talk about needing to do stuff that's not in the manual. We already covered tying knots. For this model, you need to put screws through these holes and attach it to the wall. Once you've done that, you can hang a jacket or something from here, and a funny face will come out. We tried building one of the models for which there are no instructions, this shark, because it looked kind of big and impressive, and we weren't quite sure what it did. And, well, here's the mechanism, and the idea is that this brick gets pushed, and you get this sort of swimming motion like this, right? But it doesn't really work, and there's several things wrong with it. First off, this mechanism, it's a sort of a sliding crank, and there. Now the rubber band is over center and won't pull this back. Even if it were, this thing is held on kind of, see, it's only held on by a few studs, and there's no reinforcement. And so this just doesn't hold together very well, and the mechanism itself doesn't quite work either. Now there's not many pictures of the thing, so perhaps we put it together wrong, but I think I understand why this wasn't one of the main models included in the set. Well, we built it, so we might as well try it. And so now if you find the right spot, you can hang it, and for the smallest of the 4 Inventor sets, this set is really good, actually. There are for the 6 models for which there are instructions, they're all, you have 2 runners, but they're all very different from each other. You have a push along, you have a springy thing, a passive walker, 2 cable riders, which are pretty different from each other, and this static hook, which is unlike anything else really I've seen in any Lego set. This set provides a fair amount of variety, and the models all work pretty well, and I think that's something to be praised. I think this is a pretty good set. It doesn't overpromise and it delivers nicely.